Where'd the pop go? Y'all like it?
Welcome back to our channel, guys. It's
Jake
and Emily, and we are here to teach you how to survive college. Coming in as an incoming freshman, you're blindsided, you don't know what to expect because it's kind of kept quiet on how things really are and how things really work. So we're here to tell you some tips and tricks so you can be better prepared this year.
Yep, and I mean, considering we're both seniors, we have I'd say quite a bit of experience, so
Bad and good experiences to learn from. Yes.
Yes, I think we have plenty of information to give you.
All right, so we are just gonna dive right in and give you all some tricks.
All right, so before we get started, as some of you know by the shirts, of course, both Emily and I go to the University of Georgia here in Athens. So these tips, they are pretty much universal across all universities. Some of these tips are related to some of the stuff that we have experienced here at UGA, some of the stuff we'll talk about later, but for the most part, a lot of your major universities are going to be quite similar. They're going to have a lot of apps and stuff like that act the same and all that kind of stuff that we talk about later. So if you don't go to UGA, don't worry, because I'm pretty sure like a lot of these universities are going to be pretty similar. So to begin, Emily, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, so as an incoming freshman, you go to orientation, and that's where you meet with an advisor and you start planning out your classes, which is so nerve-wracking and stressful. Usually you don't gather this information until you get there, but it is very time-consuming. You go, you want to be the first slot on orientation, you want to get a good appointment time because those classes are just dwindling down. We go to a giant university, so especially for Common Core classes that you do like your first and second year, those classes just disappear after like 5 minutes of being up once time slots open. So you're in there, you go to your computer, and you have this website and you don't know what to do, you don't know where to go, but you know you need to work fast, get it done. So my tip is to make sure you consider location. So our campus is probably like 2 to 3 miles long. You cannot walk from one end to the other in a reasonable time. We have 15 minutes between classes. So as a freshman, I did not realize that location was going to be important, so I did back-to-back classes. One was down South Campus and one was North Campus. Not a move. The buses do not work. Do not take the buses as a freshman. It's horrific.
Especially in the middle of the day.
Right, at class change, no good. So as a freshman, I would make sure you look at those classes, where they are on campus. I would go to Google Maps, go to the app that we're going to talk about later. Make sure that you can walk there in 10 minutes, because then you got to go inside, go upstairs, etc. So looking at location is very important so you're not stressed out. I remember the first day of school, I was like 10 minutes late to a class because I missed the bus because there was 200 others at this bus stop. And I called Jake crying. I didn't know what to do. I was so stressed out. I was hustling my butt to get to class. So
this gray shirt will be dark gray from all the sweat.
Right. So don't do that. Make sure that your classes are at least put together, or you have a class break in between so you can not stress when you're going to class.
Yeah. And to build on that last point, one thing that you need to take into consideration is the amount of time that you have. So for me, I like to load all my classes onto like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, because I just like to go ahead and get them done. One thing that I like to do is I like to give myself a break. So let's say like you have 3 back-to-back classes starting at 8 a.m. so around 11 or 12 you're going to be hungry, you're going to be tired, you need just a mental break to go sit in like a study hall or sit in a
dining halls are great places, especially as freshmen if you get the unlimited plan, which a lot of people do, just to help you socialize and get yourself out there. That's a great place. People go, they find a table, they spend 2 to 3 hours in the dining hall just studying away from people. You get food whenever you're hungry. So dining halls are a great place to go to during breaks.
Mm-hmm. For me, I would just go and sit in like the hallway outside my classroom, because a lot of your halls are pretty big. Like in the newer buildings, it's pretty spread out, and they always have chairs. In the older buildings, it's a little bit different because they don't really have that much seating available. But they're, like she was saying, like you can go to dining halls. You can go to like at UGA we have the Miller Learning Center, which is just a gigantic place full of study halls, study rooms, and then just gigantic, basically just huge rooms with a whole bunch of tables. You can just go sit and put your headphones in and take just a mental break, just to kind of give yourself that little refresh before you go back to your classes.
So our second tip we have is to get your university's app. We know that some schools, some smaller community college might not have this, but I think most every college does offer this. They have lots of different great features on there. You can do bus routes, you can look at your classes, look at the dining halls when they're opening up. I mainly use it for buses. Going to and from class, you figure out what bus route you need to take. You have to figure that out before the first day of class. You've got to plan out, I'm going here to here, what bus goes directly there, what's another option because class changed. There's about a herd of 400 people and you see that bus coming and everyone starts booking it to the bus stop, getting right in line in front of the door. And if you're not the first 50 in there, you will not make it, especially now. We can only fit, I think, like 15 people on a bus, and normally we fit like 70.
Yeah.
So make sure you know what route you're going on, and the bus app will tell you like, hey, it's a minute away. And if I'm not a minute to there, I know, okay, I've got to walk to class, so I got to start booking it because the bus isn't an option anymore. Or if I'm close enough, I'm like, okay, it's a minute away from this stop, let me go to the next one and catch it there.
Yeah.
So the app is very helpful. I use it a lot for bus transportation, but especially as a freshman, just to get yourself organized and set up before classes, it's very helpful just to give you an idea of what to expect.
And from personal experience, for me, I transferred to UGA. I went to Georgia State. They had a campus right beside my hometown, and it was a very, very small, it used to be a community college, so it was a very small campus I just went to and got my associates from. Whenever I transferred to UGA at the beginning of my junior year, this app literally saved my life. It was my lifeline. It had all the links to all the important forms of contact, like your student email. What we have is ELC, which is basically just like where your online class or where your classes are set up online. So you have access to go to that, and then we also have another website called Athena, which is basically just like your student account for like financial aid, where you can go and look at your student detail schedule, stuff like that. So these apps
one-stop shop. There you go.
So these apps have a lot of stuff. It's really important that you make yourself familiar with these apps before the beginning of the semester. And like she said, make sure that you look at where your classes are located on campus and see which bus routes go beside it. Because sometimes these bus routes, especially now with COVID that they changed, they only go a certain like distance around campus. So you're gonna have to get off at one stop, get on another bus. So you need to make sure that you get yourself familiar with that. And these apps will allow you to highlight certain routes. So you can highlight the route set, and it'll show you like which ones will connect.
Exactly where it goes, yeah.
And that was a lifesaver for me because it allowed me to find like 4 different buses I could take.
Yeah, it's intimidating. It definitely is without the app, and you just see some random bus with a name on it. And half the time it says "Go Dogs" or "Beat Tennessee"
or this year's gonna be "Beat COVID."
Yeah, so you don't know what's coming. So if you have that app, you're ready to go.
Yep.
All right. So the third one is for my ladies out there. I did not know what to pack as a freshman. I was like, okay, I need to look nice, but I also like, what do people wear to college? I have no idea. If you're rushing, it's a little bit different because you know, like you need to dress up every day, etc. But if you're not rushing like I did, I packed way too many dress clothes. I never wore them. First day of school, you can wear like denim shorts and like a nice shirt, but as you're not a freshman, kind of the stereotype is the first week you completely can tell who's freshman and not because they're all in dresses and khaki pants, and you're like, oh, they're a freshman because they don't know what you're supposed to wear to class.
After about the first month, everybody starts going to track shorts and basketball shorts.
Pajamas, slippers, Crocs, like I wear a track
Crocs.
short and t-shirt every single day. After that first day, freshman year, I was like, okay, no one dresses up to class. No one tries to impress anyone. So I realized I was very low on my t-shirt level of need. So I went back home, took all my t-shirts back, thank the Lord, because that's all you wear is t-shirt, track shorts. If you're going like on a date night or like something, have like a nice shirt or dress for all the social events. But to class, t-shirt, track shorts, you are gonna be sweating so much. At least here in Georgia, our campus is basically in the middle of a mountain. It's hills all around no matter where you go. So you're gonna be sweating, you're gonna want tennis shoes. Do not pack sandals, do not wear them to class.
Make sure
will not
whatever it
benefit you.
is broken in.
Yeah.
From personal experience, I had just got a brand new pair of boots that I wore one day because it was supposed to rain. I regretted that for an entire week.
You could not move your foot.
No, I could not. I had blisters all over the back of my feet. Oh, it was so bad. So,
Yeah.
especially like if you're wearing chacos, stuff like that, because I know those take a while, make sure you take those jokers and get them broken in, because you're gonna, like you said, the campus is like 2 or 3 miles long.
It's rough, yeah.
So you're gonna be walking fast.
Yeah, and the
You only have,
closets
like,
in the
20 minutes.
dorms are not big for girls. So you need to make sure you pack t-shirts. T-shirts don't need to be hung up. So if you can just fold them up, put them in the storage little bin, that's the way to go, because that is gonna be all you wear to classes. No one tries to look nice, so why should you? You should be comfortable and be able to make it in class in no pain.
Yeah. Okay, so our next tip for you is computer notes might be the way to go. So
coming from skeptics that did not believe in computer notes.
So all throughout my time at Georgia State, I did nothing but paper. I wrote everything down. I'm one of those that like I can't type it because it just I have to write it out. That's how I memorize. That's that's just how I study. But the problem is, you have to look, like I said earlier, I load my days with all my classes. Like I have, this semester I'm taking 5 classes. Mm-hmm. Of my 5 classes, 4 of them are Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So
back to back to back.
Yeah. So I can't be carrying around 4 thick notebooks and 4 huge textbooks all day, especially when I'm walking around campus. So
North Campus, haul in notebooks, and you will regret it.
Yeah. So what I do is I have an iPad and I downloaded an app. It costs $8 on the App Store. I think you can get it on any like Samsung tablet, stuff like that. Is an app called Notability. I use that, and I also use an Apple Pen. Or I've got like a similar product off Amazon because it's a little bit cheaper. But those two allow you to. It's basically just a notebook that you can use on the iPad. You never run out of paper. You never have to flip a page and waste time, because in these 50-minute classes, your professors waste no time.
No, they do.
And like in that class, we were able to use our notes on the exam. So I was able to just.
He's in the Terry of business.
Oh, whatever. And you can just scroll through that page and just find all the notes. So it's pretty beneficial to me.
Yeah, and they don't tell you this until you show up the first day of class, but just about 90% of your classes will be in a chair, and you have one of those pull-out desks that's a little triangle, and you do not have room for a big notebook. Plus, like I would do pen and a pencil, and different color pen every class, and they would all be falling on the floor. If people walk by, they knock your notebook off because you're on this tiny little thing that you don't have room for anything on. So it's helpful for me once I moved over to my computer to just have my computer in my lap or on the desk. It doesn't stick out like a notebook, and that way no one can knock off your pencil, and then the teacher's already on chapter 15 and you're over here trying to dig your pencil at someone's nasty shoe. And it's a lot condensed for what you need and what they give you.
To put it into perspective, I have a regular iPad. On the desk I used in the economics class, my iPad took up the whole space.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to stay kind of, it's really hard. So it's a lot better of an idea to use the electronic.
Yeah, and I don't use my iPad like he does, but I use OneNote. And OneNote's kind of intimidating. I can do a video on exactly how I planned it out, how I take notes during class. I feel like it would be helpful, but maybe not, so let us know. But it has everything in one place, and that way you have the notes and what he or she says. And especially when you're doing it online, you can use Control F. So that's a big help. If you type your notes, you need to go back, say you're doing a homework question and it's about this certain topic. Well, I've got 500 pages of notes because you take about 20 a day. And I mean, it takes you hours just to flip through. You don't know what you're looking for. You don't know what day it was on. Where if it was on my computer, I can just hit Control F, type in the keyword, boom, there it is. And it saves you so much time, especially for online classes now. If you can just type it on a Word doc, do Control F when you're doing your homework.
It's Command F on that.
Anyhow, you know what I'm talking about.
So Command F is another reason that you really need to go electronic, because like she's saying, like you can filter through 500
So
pages.
quick. Or like if you Google stuff and you just looking for your like your keyword, you don't have to
Quizlet.
scroll. Yeah, that's a lifesaver. And if you are like me and need to write to memorize, I would rather spend my time here at my apartment, like rewriting my notes, knowing that I have everything from class and didn't miss anything, rather than doing it in class trying to save time, but like missing every other word the professor says. I feel like it's, if you gotta put in the time, I know, but I feel like it's well worth it to write after knowing you have all the information.
Yeah.
So.
Also, to build back on another point we passed, I learned very quickly, because I use Quizlet to study for my exams, actively make your Quizlet throughout the section.
I just, no.
You need to actively
No, you do not.
Yes.
You need to pay attention.
You need to actively make the Quizlet throughout the section, because if you wait until the last minute, you're gonna spend all your time building the Quizlet and putting it together.
You build the Quizlet a week before your exam.
No. You can, but you actively make the Quizlet.
No.
You can make it for like a final.
What if the professor says the answer to a question?
Well, then that's a
and you're
problem.
busy typing in Quizlet.
You can type it into the Quizlet.
God.
Whatever. Listen to me.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Do that.
Personal preference. We are two completely opposite people when it comes to studying. She studies her tail off. I study last minute. Whatever.
Okay, so in Terry business, there's
Next point. She's gonna go into the spiel that business is easier. Don't even.
So you can make Quizlets during class. My classes in organic chemistry, no time to make Quizlets. Alright. I think we're done. I think we're gonna end the video now.
No,
so
we're not.
thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Okay. Alright, so the next tip, me and Leah have both done this.
Done what?
I'm done saying it. Don't be afraid to change your major. That is something that you're gonna have to accept. I mean, I had the idea going into high school that I was gonna go into aeronautical engineering at Georgia Tech. I took one chemistry course in high school. I hated it. I did not. Don't even. I was so bad at chemistry. I wasn't bad at just. I couldn't just, I don't know, it was so hard. So I would have changed my major before I even got to college. So there's one change.
He didn't make me the chemistry tutor in time, so that's what happened.
And then I started college as a business administration major. Changed my mind. I wanted to be in accounting. I was accounting until I finished at Georgia State. But my associates is in business administration because you can't do a accounting associates. Whenever I went to UGA, I was intimidated by their accounting program because it's very difficult to get in. Yeah. You have to take you have to take 2 qualification
like
exams.
Entrance exams. Yeah.
And if you don't take accounting at UGA, it's very difficult to get in. So I don't know what it's like at other universities, but like at Terry, you have to take those exams to even be considered for the major. You have to take it for accounting and finance. Mm-hmm. And if you don't pass, then you just don't get accepted into the program. So then I changed my mind and then I went to risk management. So that's where I'm at now.
Will you change it again? We shall see.
I sure hope not.
You are a senior.
But yeah, you just can't be afraid. The only thing is you need to try and make up your mind before the end of your sophomore year.
Yeah.
Because when Emily, you can talk about this one because this is it. It doesn't really apply to business majors because our courses aren't quite the same. Like the science requirements are where it kind of gets you. So like for me, I took geology 1 and 2 just because it was an easy class to take and just kind of like a GPA booster.
You don't know what I was thinking?
I knew you were thinking.
I was thinking about how cute you were.
I'm sure you were.
You take geology, you can't do good at chemistry and biology. I'm in biochemistry, I'm in radiology.
Okay, so I thought I was going to be a doctor. I thought I was going to go to med school. And I was like, okay, I really need to impress these people because I'm a people pleaser. So let me do a double major in psychology. Okay, so I was like, let me double major. I'm going to do chemistry so it looks good. If you interrupt me one more time. Okay, so I'm going to do chemistry and psychology because I enjoy psychology, but chemistry I felt like was more medical, like oriented. So I go in and no one told me that for all of your science classes, you have 3-hour labs a week. So when I would take organic chemistry, chemistry, bio, etc., I would have like 6 to 9 hours of just labs a week, which I feel like really hurt me freshman year just because all my friends, we'd be done with their classes by like noon, 2 o'clock, and I've still got a lab from 3 to 6. And they're like, hey, let's go to dinner. Hey, let's go do this. Hey, let's do a basketball game. And I'm like, oh, I have lab. Like, sorry.
Do you know how bad I felt being at Georgia State and being done at like 10 in the morning?
It's hard.
I would go home and take a nap, and she'd be in lab from the time I got home from class until like 5 o'clock at night. Those labs are no joke.
And like you also have class like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, plus a lab Tuesday. So if I was in bio and chem, I'd have a lab Tuesday, a lab Thursday, classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, plus all my other classes I was taking. I mean, it's hard. So I took classes that weren't needed. I went all the way up to analytical chemistry, which was stupid of me because I enjoy chemistry in high school. Chemistry is completely different in college, and I could have done it. They weren't terrible, but the fact that you had 3-hour labs for every single class was just kicking my butt, and I was not enjoying it. They're just ridiculous. They're absolutely ridiculous.
From the outside looking in, I would say it's the equivalent to having a job, in all honesty.
100%. So it's a full-time job, and that's just that's like 1 hour credit for lab, and you have to do more work than probably any of my other classes. With all that being said, I did not need any of those as now I'm going physician assistant route. So I didn't waste time. Those classes were helpful and they'll help me.
Extra unused knowledge.
Yeah, they'll make me look good on my application and resumes, but they definitely were not worth it. And I really wish I would have decided my path before junior year basically, so I wasn't in all of those like upper level sciences that weren't really needed and about killed me. So,
and like let's say that let's say coming into my sophomore year I wanted to be risk management, and then at the end of sophomore year I decided I want to be something in the medical field. I'm missing all those labs and all those sciences, and I just took 2 geologies.
Yeah,
that advisor's gonna look at me like I am crazy with 3 heads.
Yeah.
Because you're basically adding a whole
4 years.
You're basically starting over.
Yeah.
Because it's basically erasing all of your core classes because it's ridiculous.
And there's like hardly any overlap. The only overlap is like your culture and religion classes. But there's no overlap between business and science, so none of your
So if you have any inclination that you want to do
figure
anything science related, I would strongly recommend you go ahead and register for chemistry or like a biology class.
Yeah.
Because
but if you can't handle it, don't do it.
Yeah.
Switch your mind, go business, go art, go whatever, because if you're not ready for freshman chemistry walking in, you're in trouble. I chemistried freshman.
Yeah. Wait a second.
I tutored freshmen.
Tutor English. Jeez.
I tutored freshmen who were in chemistry and worked alongside with the professor, and it's rough, and they know it's a lot of work, and they don't really care. They just have to get through the material. So definitely you have to be passionate on whatever you're gonna do it and figure it out soon.
And if you are in science, don't skip class. You miss.
So you're gonna tell them to skip class if you're in Terry?
you can.
You can.
So I would go and sit in a couple classes with Emily. I didn't take chemistry,
funny.
but I'm not joking when I say he used every possible second of that class from the moment it hit like 11 o'clock until 11:50.
They have everything set up like 10 minutes before, and as soon as that timer switches over to like 00, they're like, okay, let's go. And they do not let up until the minute that you're supposed to get out.
And by George, she would write like 17 pages worth of notes in one class.
I would.
It's really, really hard.
You don't even know, you don't know what he's
ears.
saying, you don't know what he's teaching. All you're doing is copying down and you figure it out later. And that's how time consuming these classes are, because they do go so fast. For us, just having to cover so much, where you can't listen to him. I couldn't tell you one thing I learned after class until I go home and sit down and like figure out what my gibberish is. And then I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
I guess that whole tangent can kind of be a tip in itself. So that tip is basically...
Don't go to UGA and go into Franklin.
No, don't even. The tip is don't skip class.
All right.
That's basically it.
There we go. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you made it this long, but we really felt like all of these were necessary and would really help incoming freshmen. We wish we knew all of this information before starting, because it would have saved us a buttload of time and resources.
Yep.
So hopefully this helped everyone watching, and we will see you in the next video.
Well, before we go, we want to say college is so fun. College is probably one of the coolest things I've done in my life. It really is what you make it. So incoming freshmen, take advantage of everything. Go to games. Go to these events that your university holds. Like at UGA, they have the Tate Center, which is where they have activities going all the time.
Socials,
Yeah. Neither of us rush or anything like that. I've heard great things. It just wasn't something I would
as a
personally
science
do.
major in labs 9 hours, rush sorority.
As a business
not
major,
option.
you can definitely do it. Because I'm not joking when I say like every other person probably is in a frat. So, but definitely take advantage of every possible thing that you can do. Games, like I said, are probably the most important thing that you can do.
Of course.
I mean, how else would you celebrate going to university?
Yeah.
But college is what you make it. Have as much fun as you possibly can. Just be responsible, have fun, and hopefully this video we made really helped you out.
Yeah.
Like we said, it's a whole lot of information that we've learned on our own. We didn't really have much help coming in, so yeah, I really hope these videos help. Or this video, excuse me.
Go dogs. Go dogs.